Hello, my name is Madam Jennifer from Educare TZ. Welcome again, my lovely Form 4 students in our biology session, and I would like to take you through the topic on the classification of the living things. I am aware that and I'm sure that you have already discussed the classification from your Form 1, from your Form 2, from your Form 3, and you have discussed different kingdoms, where we have discussed that we have the 5 kingdoms, where in Form 1 you discuss on the kingdom Monera and the kingdom Protoctista. In Form 2 you discuss on the kingdom Plantae, where you see the 2 division of Bryophyta and Felicynophyta. In Form 3 you discuss on the kingdom Plantae, where you discuss on the kingdom Coniferophyta and Angiospermophyta. Now in Form 4 I would like to take you to pass you through the kingdom Animalia, which is the last kingdom. So the subtopic of this topic, or the classification of the living things, is the phylum Platyhelminthes, which are the subphylum of the kingdom Animalia, the phylum Nematoda, the phylum Annelida, the phylum Arthropoda, and phylum Chordata. Welcome. By starting with the kingdom Animalia, which are where these phylum are found. Now the kingdom Animalia comprises of a wide variety of animals. Animals vary greatly in their structures, morphology, and their body function. Despite of this variation, members of kingdom possesses features that distinguish them from members of other kingdom. So the kingdom Animalia comprises a wide variety of animals. Tunataka kuangalia anzia smallest animal mpaka the largest one, ambapo tunataka kuangalia kina chordate, tunaenda kupata kina binadamu, tunaenda kupata kina reptile, tunaenda kupata kina amphibians. Vile vile katika Platyhelminthes tunaenda kuangalia kina ascaris, flatworm, earthworm, akina arachnids, akina spiders, akina chilopoda, diplopoda, and others. So despite the variation, members of this kingdom, they possess features which distinguish them from one phylum to another. So, depending on the presence or absence of the vertebral column backbone, animals are categorized as the vertebrate and invertebrate. So, within the kingdom Animalia, we have 2 main types of the groups, where we have the vertebrate and invertebrate. The vertebrate, these are the organisms which have the vertebral column or the uti wa mgongo, like in the vertebrate, these are the organisms which lack the vertebral column throughout their life. So, this is one of the major groups of the kingdom Animalia. Na wanyama wenye uti wa mgongo na wasiokuwa na uti wa mgongo. So, the vertebrate animal that possess the vertebral column, and the example of vertebrate animals are fish, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, apes, and others. Vile vile, the invertebrate animals are animals that do not possess the vertebral column. Example is Porifera, Cnidarians, Echinodon, flatworm, roundworm, mollusks, and arthropod, where we are going to discuss the arthropod, tunaenda kuangalia kina crabs, spiders, and others. So, the vertebrates are animals that have a supporting structure called the notochord in early stage of development. So during the age, if you study the embryology of all vertebrates during the early stage of development, you get that all vertebrates possess the notochord, and during the early stage of development they possess the notochord. While as they grow, the notochord become replaced by the vertebral column, while in some animals this notochord persists. So the notochord, mostly for most of the animal, is only present during the young stage of development. So the notochord is wrought like a cartilaginous structure extended longitudinally along the dorsal side of animal body. The function of notochord is to provide a support. This is the main function of the notochord, which is being replaced by the vertebral column. But as you know, kazi yake ni kwa ajili ya provision of the support. So you studied very nicely katika topic of movement when you are in the Form 3. In most vertebrates, the notochord is replaced by the vertebral column during the later stage of their development. However, in some vertebrates, the notochord persists throughout their life. Now, what are the general features of animals? When you hear the kingdom animals, what are the general features? These general features, these are the features which include, this comprises all phylum of the kingdom Animalia. While when we will see on the distinguishing features, we discuss the features which distinguish the members of the kingdom Animalia from other kingdoms. So, They are eukaryotes. The eukaryotes, these are the organisms with which have the nuclear bond membrane, and their organs are bound by membranes. So the eukaryotes, therefore, they possess clearly defined nucleus, and their cells have the membrane bound organelles. Also, they are multicellular, meaning that they are made up of more than one cell. They are made of millions of cells. That means they are made up of more than one cells. Also, their mode of nutrition is heterotrophic, meaning that they depend on others. And most animals are mobile. Most of the members of the kingdom animals are mobile, meaning that they have ability to move from one place to another. Few are immobile, but mostly are mobile. Also, most animals are bilaterally symmetrical body. So the bilateral symmetrical body means that when you cut their body, you get the two equal halves. That is bilaterally symmetrical. So this means that their body can be divided longitudinally into two equal parts, not ventrally. When you divide something longitudinally, meaning that you cut it vertically, and there you get the two equal halves. Also, most animals have high level of tissue differentiation and specialized body organ, meaning that they have different tissue which are specialized for performance of their function within the system, body system. Also, most animals have well-developed nervous system which are very, very sensitive to stimulus, and where they give the immediate feedback for a particular response. Also, most animals have anterior and posterior ends with oral and anal opening. So they have the two opening. Most of them they have anterior and posterior, ambapo kuna mouth and anus for the entrance and for the entrance and exit of the anointed material. Most animals are tripoblastic. Tripoblastic, this means they are made of the 3 layers. Ambapo 3 layers, kuna inner layer ambayo ni endodermis, kuna middle layer ambayo ni mesodermis, na outer layer ambayo ni ectoderm. So the outer layer ni ectoderm, middle layer ni mesoderm, na inner layer ni endoderm. The majority of animal digest food internally in the gut and store carbohydrate in the form of glycogen. So the majority of the member of the kingdom Animalia, they tend to have the internal digestion, meaning that they tend they have the well-developed digestive system where the food is digested internally and removed outside as a feces, or they are excreted as feces. Also, they store carbohydrate in form of glycogen. Only animal pamoja na katika kingdom fungi tumeona kakena yeast wenyewe pia wanakuwa na tabia kuweza kustore food in form of glycogen. So also animals also have the characteristics of storing food in form of glycogen, with the exception to plants wenyewe ambao na store food in form of starch. Now, what are the distinctive features of kingdom Animalia? So, they inhibit a heterotrophic mode of nutrition, meaning that they are unable to manufacture their own food. Instead, they depend on other organisms to manufacture their own food, or they depend on other organisms as a source of food. Also, most of animals digest food internally in the gut and store carbohydrate in the form of glycogen. Most of these animals, they tend to digest their food internally na kuweza kuzistore in form of glycogen. Ambapo glycogen is a form of glucose. Katika form theory, you have learned a lot katika control of the blood sugar glucose level, where you see the excess glucose or carbohydrate ina be converted kwenda katika glycogen for storage. Na vile vile, most of animals are capable of locomotion. Most of them have ability to move from one place to another. This is the meaning of locomotion, the movement of the whole body parts from one place to another. Also, as they move from one place to another, few animals are sessile, such as oyster. Also, animals have well-developed nervous system that help them in detecting changes in their surrounding. Vilevile na this nervous system ambayo inasaidia katika detection of the changes katika surrounding na kuweza provide appropriate response kwa ajili ya usalama wao. Vilevile, phyla of the kingdom Animalia. As we already see katika subsection zetu, we have numerous the phylum of the kingdom Animalia, ambapo the kingdom Animalia comprises of several phyla, and these are Porifera, kuna Cnidarian, kuna Annelida, kuna Arthropoda, kuna Mollusca, kuna Chordata, kuna Platyhelminthes na Echinodermata. Lakini katika due to our level ya form 4 due to your level ya form 4 level yako ya form 4 tunaenda kuangalia the main 5 pillars. Zingine wewe utakapokuwa katika university level, advanced level utaweza ku discuss in detail. So the first one unaenda kuangalia the platyhelminthes ambao kutakuwa na tapeworm, kina liver flanks, kina blood flanks tunaweza kuangalia. Nyingine ni phylum Nematoda ambao ilikuwa inaitwa zamani kwamba ni Scaraminthes ambao which include the Ascaris fish, kuna hookworm na pamoja na filarium ambayo inapelekea ile ugonjwa wa filariasis. Na vile vile kuna phylum Annelida ambapo kuna kuwepo na kina earthworm, akina leeches na the marine relatives kwa mfano kama kina ragworm pamoja na lungworm. Na vile vile nyingine phylum nyingine unaweza kuangalia katika your level, kuna phylum Arthropoda, tutaenda kuangalia kina crabs, akina ticks, akina spiders, akina cockroach pamoja na akina butterfly as one of the within this phylum. Vile vile kuna classes. Na phylum nyingine ambayo tunataka kuiangalia katika kingdom Animalia ni phylum Chordata ambayo tunataka kuangalia advanced organisms such as human beings, tunataka kuangalia cattle, tunataka kuangalia fishes, tunataka kuangalia chicken, tunataka kuangalia frogs pamoja na snake. These are all belong to this phylum Chordata. I hope that you'll enjoy concerning this particular topic of the classification, where you are going to classify, you are going to use different method of classification so that you can place the different organism depending on their required classes using the distinctive features. Sasa tunaweza kuangalia either the natural or artificial method of classification so to classify them very nicely. This topic itasaidia vile vile katika practicals when you perform your biology practical session katika classification, because you have already learned the classification from the form 1 mpaka form 4. Now you can perform your biology practicals very, very nicely. Also, you can tackle different questions concerning this topic. I would like to welcome you in the coming session where we are going to discuss those phylum one after another. But before I sum up my session, I would like to give you this simple task so that you can increase up your understanding. My simple question are, first question, give reason why animals and plants are placed in different kingdoms. This is a understanding question. It is competence question. You have to think very carefully, then you can answer it. It is very, very simple. The second question, explain the main function of the notochord in different kingdoms. Where you see that the notochord is present for all members of the kingdom Animalia. So you have to display their function. Also, the last question is, describe the distinctive features of the Animalia or of the animals. That's marked the end of our session. I would like to welcome you in coming session on the Educare Media. Please keep on following. Thank you for your attention. Have a nice moment. My name is Madam Jennifer from Educare TZ. Welcome my lovely Form 4 students in our lecture series in biology, and I would like to pass you through the today's lesson, which is the classification of the living things. I know that you are familiar with this topic. You have already learned it from your Form 1, from your Form 2, from your Form 3 also. I would like to pass you through the last kingdom among those major 5 kingdoms which we have discussed in your Form 1, that we have the 5 major kingdoms of the organism. And the first one was the kingdom Monera, the kingdom Protoctista, which you covered in your Form 1. Also, the third one is kingdom Fungi, which you discussed during your Form 2, where you discussed on the kingdom Fungi is classes where there was Ascomycota, there was Basidiomycota, as well as Zygomycota. Also, the first one was the kingdom Plantae, which comprises the members of plants, where you see the different division, where there was Bryophyta, there was Phylloxenophyta, which you discussed in Form 2, and in Form 3 you discussed on the division Coniferophyta as well as Angiospermophyta. So in today's session, in the Form 4 level, I will pass you through the last kingdom of the kingdom Animalia, which comprises the variety of organisms. This is the largest kingdom which comprises the variety of organisms which differ in their morphological. Also, they have distinctive features which they intend to distinguish them from one phylum and the another. So I would like to welcome you in this session, because you are going to gain a lot of knowledge which can help you to tackle different questions concerning your practicals, concerning your classification process during your studies. So this topic comprises different phylums which are contained within the kingdom Animalia. The first one is phylum Platyhelminthes, where we are going to discuss on the flatworm, ringworm. Also, this nematodes, where we are going to discuss them in details. What are the nematodes? Also, the phylum Annelids, the phylum Arthropoda, and the last one, which is the phylum Chordata, where within this phylum we are going to get those reptile, amphibians, human beings, mammals, as well as else. So I would like to welcome you. So by starting with our session, before this is an introductory part, we need to understand in detail what is the kingdom Animalia before we discuss on their phylum. So the kingdom Animalia comprises of a wide variety of animals, and animals vary greatly in their structure, morphology, and their body function. So the animals within the kingdom Animalia, they tend to vary very greatly in their structure, how they are made, how they are morphologically, how they looks like, and their bodily function, how they perform different body activity, how they move, how they reproduce, how they excrete, how they perform the regulation processes. So despite of this variation, members of this kingdom possess features that distinguish them from members of other kingdom. So despite of this variation, this member of this kingdom Animalia, possess features that distinguish them from the member of other kingdom like kingdom Plantae, Fungi, Monera, as well as Protoctista. So, depending on the presence or absence of the vertebral column or backbone, animals are categorized as vertebrate and invertebrate, depending on the absence or the presence of the backbone. So, the members of the kingdom Animalia are grouped into two main classes, where we have the vertebrate animals and invertebrate animals. When we talk on the vertebrate animals, these are the animals which are made up of backbone, while when you talk on the invertebrate animals, these are the animals which lack the backbone. So the vertebrates are animals that possess the vertebral column or backbone. Example, there is fishes, there is amphibia, example, akina frogs. There is this reptile, example, akina snakes. There is birds, mammals, example, we human beings, we possess the vertebral column which acts as the main supporting of the body function. You have learned during the movement or the importance of the vertebral column, which is made up of different discs which act as a cushion, also supporting of the body structure. Also, the invertebrates are animals that do not possess the vertebral column. The animal that does not possess the vertebral column are known as invertebrates. And example are porifera, there's cnidarians, there is echinoderms, there is flatworms, roundworms, and mollusci and arthropoda. These are the example of the invertebrate animals. So, the vertebrate animals that have supporting structure called the notochord in early stage of development. All vertebrates, if you study the embryo, the embryology or their embryo during the early stage of development, you get that all of them possess the notochord. But this notochord become replaced by the vertebral column during their stage of development, while in some animals, this notochord tend to persist throughout their life. The main function of the notochord is to act as supporting structure of the body. This is the one which enables organism to work upright. Now, example, the notochord is rod-like cartilaginous structure extended longitudinally along the dorsal side of the animal body. Hata ukiangalia samaki pia anakuwa na notochord. So this is one of the example. This is one of the characteristics ya notochord, ambayo yenyewe ni rod-like cartilaginous structure extended longitudinally along the dorsal side of an animal body. The function of notochord is to provide the support. So, in most vertebrates, the notochord is replaced by vertebral column during the later stage of their development. However, in some vertebrates, this notochord tend to persist throughout their life. So now, what are the general characteristics of the Animalia? When you talk on the Animalia, wanakuwa na sifa zipi? So this is what we are going to discuss today. The first one, the eukaryotes. The eukaryotes are the organisms which have the nuclear bond membrane. Also, their organs are surrounded by the cell membrane, or they have membrane bound organelles. Example, mitochondria, cytoplasm, vacuoles, and others. Also, they are multicellular. Multicellular, this means these are the organisms which are made up of more than one cell. They are made of millions of cells. Also, their mode of nutrition is heterotrophic. The heterotrophic meaning that these are the organisms which do depend on other organisms as a source of food. Take an example, human being. A human being depends on plants as a source of food. A human being depends on animals like herbivores, kwa mfano kama ng'ombe, cow, as a source of food ambayo anapata nyama. So human being ni omnivores ambayo anafeed katika both herbivores pamoja na meat ambayo ni carnivores. Vile vile kuna some animals ambayo yenyewe ni herbivores, kwa mfano this ruminant organism, kwa mfano cow, kuna kondoo, kuna mbuzi. Vile vile kuna carnivores like lion ambaye anakuwa anafeed even kwa this giraffe. Vile vile kuna omnivores ambao ndio kama human being ambaye alikuwa anafeed on both plant and animal as a source of food. Vile vile most of animals are mobile, meaning that most of them have ability to locomote. The locomotion, this is the ability of an organism to move the whole body parts from one place to another for the search of food, mates. For this locomotion is very, very important because it enables organism to avoid danger. It is one of the defensive mechanisms. Take an example, a giraffe, a lion. It might locomote so as to get away from being eaten by the predator. Also, most animals are bilaterally symmetrical body. The bilaterally symmetrical body by means to, so bilaterally symmetrical meaning that when they are cut longitudinally, they can split into two halves. Also, most animals have high level of tissue differentiation and specialized body organs. And most animals have well-developed nervous system. Most of the animals in this kingdom have well-developed nervous system which are responsible for the detection of the stimuli, also the interpretation, also giving the appropriate feedback for that particular stimuli. Also, the most animals have anterior and posterior ends with oral and anal opening. So most of the animals have the two opening ambapo kuna kuwepo na anterior na posterior ambapo ni mouth pamoja na anal. Vile vile most animals are typoblastic. Typoblastic meaning that their body parts are made up of 3 layers. Ambapo the first layer ni the outer layer ni ectoderm, the middle layer ni mesoderm, na inner layer ni endoderm. Also, the majority of animals digest the food internally in the gut and store carbohydrate in the form of glycogen. This is one of the distinguishing character between the member of the kingdom Animalia pamoja na kingdom Plantae, ambapo the kingdom Plantae wenyewe na store food carbohydrate in form of starch, lakini this organism they do digest their food internally. Also, they store their carbohydrate in form of glycogen. I hope that during your form 3 you learn on the regulation katika blood sugar regulation, where you see that when the blood glucose level ikiwa in higher level, the insulin inapelekea conversion of the glucose, ambayo glucose come from the breaking down of the carbohydrate to be stored or to be converted into glycogen, so as to reduce the amount of blood sugar, so as to make sure that the blood sugar is maintained at the constant level. Also, now I would like to take you through the distinctive features. That was all about the general feature. These are the shared characteristics among all members of the kingdom